We're going to welcome a new pioneer to the summit, to our base camp. And I am so grateful to Julie Laughlin because she introduced me to Dr. Donna Marie Cozine. We had a brief 30-minute conversation a couple of months ago. And right away, just like with Megan, within 5 minutes, I knew instantly that I wanted to have Donna on the summit with us. She shared with me her background, her story, and how important family integrity, legacy, and helping those who are in need was. And I knew right away, instantly, that Donna needed to be a part of the family, a part of this climb, and a part of the summit. And when she said yes, I was over the moon excited. And so, with that being said, Donna, welcome to the summit. Welcome to the family, and the mountain is yours.
Thank you so much. I am really delighted to be here. First of all, I did not know how emotional this was going to be. I was not ready. And I don't know if it's because I started HRT last week or it's all the stories, but I am really appreciative of what everyone has shared today. Um, Hope springs eternal, and we do need hope for the holiday. And I love when Chris was talking about like hope is not passive, it's something that's active. So I'm going to take us in a little bit of a different direction today, and I'm going to talk with you about joy and the importance of joy in our lives. And listen, y'all, I was a teacher, that's my background, so this is going to be an active little talk. So I need you all in the chat. I'm going to give you some assignments to do as we go through, but I want to go ahead and get started in talking about, so let me get my notes ready, my little lesson plan, because I want to make sure that I get to everything I wanted to talk about. So first of all, I want to talk with you about joy. And here's my question for you. Here is the audience participation. When was the last time you felt genuine joy? Not just happiness, but joy. Down to your toes, pit of your stomach, all the way up to the top of your head. When was the last time? And I want you to drop it in the chat. Love that. This morning, last weekend, yesterday. Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between just now. I love that, Deb. I was thinking about myself that I actually felt a lot of joy from this so far from this summit. I want to talk a little bit about the difference between joy and happiness, because sometimes we think it's the same, but it really there's a slight difference between the two. Joy is that inner experience of connection, meaning, delight. We could be happy, we could watch a show and laugh and be happy, but joy is the thing that is both a human need and a human responsibility to experience joy and to bring joy. So tonight, or for the next 20 minutes or less, I want to invite you back to joy, back to expecting it, seeing it, and creating it. Because truly, we can find joy, and even in life's most challenging times. Joy helps us as human beings. It helps regulate our nervous system. You know, when we're feeling dysregulated and we feel like our nervous system is firing, it reduces cortisol, it increases dopamine, and it strengthens resilience. Joy expands our creativity, openness, problem solving, and it interrupts anxiety and helps the brain reset. Someone earlier, I think it was Matt, said depression can't find a moving target or something. Joy is similar. That joy, when you experience joy, it mitigates against those other things. Mark, thank you, Deb. Joy deepens trust and strengthens human connection. It's contagious. It elevates the emotional climate around us. So, knowing how powerful joy is, the real question for us becomes how do we make it part of our everyday lives? And this begins with learning to expect it. So, I challenge you every day to expect joy. When we have expectations, they shape our experiences. When we expect joy to happen, your brain actually scans for it. Just like when you buy a red car and suddenly everywhere you see a red car, or your brain starts looking for it. When we expect joy, it shifts us out of survival mode. How many of you have been in survival mode in the last week? I will tell you, I've been in survival mode quite a bit. My cortisol is popping. My son's having some medical issues. But how many of you have been in that place where it just feels like I'm surviving? I'm not thriving, I'm just surviving. If that's you, just drop me all of 2025, yeah, or raise your hand, yeah. We've all been there, right? Whether it's a day, an hour, a week. When we expect joy, it gives our heart permission to hope again, to say there are better things possible. It plants a belief in our brain that there are good things here for me. For me, good things. I don't have to be somebody who allows life to just happen to me. I can experience and expect joy. You know, we all today have heard so many stories of people who have experienced resilience and come through that. And I want you to think for yourself a time that if you expected joy instead of waiting for it, what would change in your life? How could your life change if you expected joy instead of waiting or waited for it? If you feel comfortable, drop it in the chat. My second challenge for you is once we expect joy, the next step is learning to actually see it. Joy is often small, it's subtle, it's sometimes really easy to miss. It's that smile on your child's face. It's when your cousin tells you that they're expecting a baby and you think about your grandmother and you say, oh my God, grandma would be so excited. It's that feeling inside. It lives in moments, not always movements, but moments. Laughter, beauty, connection, accomplishment, or just stillness. The more we notice joy, the more the brain strengthens its pathway to find it. That's the key. When we expect it and we look for it, our brain will find it. Yes, it can easily be the first sip of morning coffee. Sometimes we miss joy because we're rushing, we're overwhelmed, we've normalized stress that we all deal with, and we feel that we don't enjoy it when life is hard. But here's the truth. Every single one of us deserves joy. Just before Chris was talking about God and what God wants for us. He wants us to have joy. That's why we're on this earth, is to live our best life. So I'm going to ask you to reflect for a moment on one small joy from the last 24 hours. Something simple, a moment of lightness. I want you to think about it and drop it in the chat. And I'll tell you, for me, it was when I sat on the couch with my cup of tea and the dog jumped on my lap, curled up and sat down and gave me some oxytocin. So what was that small moment of joy for you in the last day? Yes. Isn't that beautiful? Sun crawling in my bed in the middle of the night. And I love, Chris, that's joyful for you, because some people would say that that is not joyful. They would look at it from the flip side. I'm not sleeping well, all those things. I love that. Connecting with your grandfather, this group, daughter sitting on your lap. Joy doesn't just happen to us, and it's not the absence of struggle. It's actually the presence of something good. Sometimes it's something good within the struggle. The most powerful joy is the joy that we learn to create. So the third thing I'm going to challenge you with today is to create joy for yourselves and to create joy for those that you love. Creating joy is active, just like having hope. It's intentional and it's generous. It's saying joy is so powerful, joy is so beautiful, I want to share it with other people. This can be as simple as practicing gratitude, sharing a kindness, doing something playful, or making space for what lights you up. Maybe Chris's kids say, hey, Dad, let's make a blanket fort. And that is a moment of joy. Creating joy returns agency to our lives. No longer are we saying these things are happening to us. We're saying these things of joy are happening for us. It reminds us we're co-creators in our own emotional world. As an example is how we create joy during difficult seasons. And we do it through community like this. We do it through creativity. I've heard people on here who write poetry, creating joy through poetry, or even a personal ritual. Having a cup of coffee, having a cup of tea. Deb cooks. Apparently my dog barks. It brings him joy. I don't know if you can hear it, and hopefully he'll be a little quiet. But joy is a gift, and when we create joy, we give others permission to do the same. It's a contribution. It's not just a feeling. I want to share a little story with you about my nephew who we lost when he was 25, 5 years ago. He was born with a lot of issues and problems, and I don't want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is a year before he passed, he actually was diagnosed with cancer. That's not why he passed. He passed from an aortic aneurysm 7 years after having a heart transplant. And we were sitting and we were talking about all the things that had happened to him. And he said, Donna, cancer was actually a blessing. And I thought to myself, gosh, this kid, he's 20, at the time he was 23 or 24, and I'm thinking, gosh, he's so much more evolved than I am. And he said, if not for getting cancer, I would not have realized how lucky I am for all of these other things in my life. He expected joy to happen. He prepared his heart for it. He saw joy in small gifts of what was happening around him. He created joy. He built it for himself and for others. And that is a gift that we can all give to others. So joy is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Our bodies need it. Our brains need it. Our self-regulation needs it. If we expect it, if we see it and look for it, and we create it, you'll see how your life, your relationships, and your experiences transform. So one thing I challenge you with today is, before you go to bed tonight, I want you to find one moment of joy. And tomorrow, I want you to expect another. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. That was incredible. And I love the fact that your puppy decided to join in, because typically mine love to jump in typically when I'm unmuted, but they're deciding to be actually behave this afternoon. But absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us, and absolutely love that. I do have one question for you before I hand this over to Deb. Um, and what legacy do you want to leave behind for
Oh
your
my
family?
gosh, love that question. Thank you for asking it.
Of course.
I think there is no greater legacy for me to leave behind than my two little humans, to help them become the best version of themselves that they can be, to contribute to society, and to know what it means to be a good person. I think that, I've done a lot of really cool things in my life, but the two most important things I've done in my life is marrying my husband and having my children. And from those things, all of my blessings have risen. And I feel I have no bigger responsibility than to leave them a legacy of kindness, love for our brothers and sisters, and leaving this place better than when we found it. And I don't always hit it on the head. I don't always, as a mom, I'm not always making the right decisions. I'm not always saying the right thing. But I do think it's important for those of us on here who are parents is to give ourselves that grace and that forgiveness of saying, okay, well, maybe that wasn't my best moment, but okay. But I think that for me, the legacy is my children. And also one other thing that I do is I do work with women as an executive coach, and I help women write books to grow their business. So I think my other legacy is really helping women be okay with taking up space and being big and saying, this is who I am and this is what I want for my life. And it's okay. I don't need to shrink to fit in. Actually, I don't want to fit in. I want to be exceptional. So I think those two are my legacy. And I am really thankful that you extended an invitation to be here today. I have been so impressed with everyone who's spoken. And again, I didn't expect to be so emotional. But thank you so much, David, for this opportunity.
Of course, yeah, that's what I love about our family. And, it's good to let the emotions out every once in a while. I am a basket case. I mean, I cry during, I hate to admit it, but sometimes I cry during Disney movies, during Beauty and the Beast, the live action movie when he's running up the tower and Emma Watson's running off on the horse. I'm crying. I mean, that's just the way it is. But you're always welcome here, Donna, and I'll be in touch. I mean, I got 6 more virtual summits planned out for next year, and hopefully in the near future. I shouldn't say anything publicly yet because Michael's my coach and I need to talk to him about some things. And so got a lot of cool things going. So, but it's always an honor. I was truly grateful that Julie connected you and I. That's what I love about the family is just the connection. So, what do you got for us, Deb?
First and foremost, David, thank you for being an incredible curator of incredible people. And Dr. Donna, oof, resonating, Spidey sense. I actually would love to at some point touch base aside from here and collab a little bit. My defunct YouTube channel is The Joyful Griever. And that said, thank you so much for bringing your expertise and the classroom structure. I found it incredibly delightful and beneficial, and I've been a devotee of joy now for the last 3-4 years.
Thank you, Deb. Absolutely love it. To anybody else in our wonderful VIP here, we just got our other speaker coming in. She's just pulling back into the house. Would anybody like to pour some love into Dr. Donna? Go ahead, Sierra.
I was just going to say, I'm a big supporter of joy. I believe that, life is so miserable all the time for the most part. We should be looking for moments of joy, but I like how you said create the moments of joy versus like looking for it. So I think I'm going to create some because I was thinking that I was like, oh wow, I'm really missing consistent joy, right? Like having this consistency of it.
Sierra, I think one of the things, and being a mom, and I saw your little love, and I've got 2 kids of my own. I think being a mom is really hard and it's constant. And those of us who are working and momming and all of the things, we really don't give ourselves a break.
Mhm.
And the little moments that should be joyful, we almost sometimes see as something that's inconvenient, right? Like we're baking cookies, it should be joyful, and all I'm thinking is, God, I have to clean up the plates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like switching and saying, let me just really think to myself, my babies are not going to be this old, this young, and let me just enjoy it and don't worry about the plates. And my house is a mess. But you know what? I don't care because there's going to be a day that they're not here and I'm going to miss it, right? I'm going to miss the mess. But I think I think that when we're intentional about it, and again, I don't always get it right, right? There are days where I had a migraine yesterday. I was out for the count. I couldn't think of anything joyful yesterday. But if we just kind of shift that expectation that there are joyful things happening around, and we get ourselves out of that glut of like everything sucks right now, it changes what's happening in our bodies, which is really amazing. And Deb, thank you for your kind words as well. I'll definitely hook up with you outside in real life.
Thank you, Deb, Sierra. What you got for us, Lauren?
Well, what timing? While you were actually speaking, sorry, my kids are yelling in the background, but while you were speaking and just like asking for different moments of joy, I remembered that I had bought stuff to bake cookies, Christmas cookies with my kids. So I actually like just pulled out, all the cookie cutters. And it's funny because you just brought up baking cookies. And so we're going to do that tonight. And so those are those little moments of joy. And I don't mind the big messes. So they're excited to do it. And again, it's a tradition that we do every year. And instead of pushing it off or trying to squeeze it in, we have time tonight. We don't have practices, we can make it happen. So thank you for reminding me about those little moments of joy that I can bring into my day.
That's awesome. Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, joy is reminds me of the Pixar movie. I don't know why my brain just went there, but as you can tell, I'm a Disney fanatic and Pixar fanatic. But joy is always a good thing to have in life, and I try to live my life like that every day. It's can be challenging. I mean, it just got to remind ourselves to keep doing that. And I can relate to the migraine side of things, Donna. You know, today they're raging like a racehorse. But it is what it is. And I know tomorrow I'm going to be sitting in my recliner, just reflecting on each and every one of you. I'm sort of like Michael in this. I don't like to take compliments, but I am getting better at it when people give them my way. But living life with joy, especially with what every one of us have been through. I'm just truly grateful for each and every one of you. And Donna, I am grateful for you for um, jumping in and joining us and not really knowing me that much. And, uh, trusting Julie and jumping on that call with me was truly a blessing in disguise. And, I wanted to open up and have a, general discussion right now because we're going to hang on and wait for our next speaker because she was just driving back from work. And I just wanted to open this up to everybody. If you guys want to just have a dialogue for a few minutes, and I can see where Amanda is at. But let's talk about how everybody is feeling over the last day and a, 2 days. And let's do a I don't know, decompression cycle, and just let's do a little feedback and talk about how everybody's feeling. So well, Deb's got the mute off, so you want to go first?
Well, why not? Um, I might have texted it at one point, but I was apprehensive's the wrong word, but something like that. I when I first heard about your summit and literally how many presenters and how many hours and everything and coming into it, it was daunting to think about it. And I am gobsmacked at how fast it's going. The energy level, and this is just because, again, you are an incredible curator of all of these incredible people, and I'm suffering imposter syndrome big time right now. But the energy level, I don't recall it dipping, and this is fantastic. That's it.
Oh, thank you, Deb. I know when I do these, like in the past, I've only done just 1 days, and I think the last one back in September went 16, almost 17 hours, and there was a couple that almost made it the entire time with me, and that was a long one. And I know it can seem daunting, and I'm grateful for all of you for sticking it out with me, but I was impressed that the energy level stayed up and the emotions were intense. And thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? Where's it?
I'll just jump in and say I've been watching a little bit on the live yesterday, and then I've been in here for a couple hours today, and I just the the environment that you've created is really beautiful, where people feel they can trust, even though I don't know anybody here and they don't know me. Everyone felt that they could trust us with their stories. And stories are a sacred thing, what's happened to us and what our feelings are and what we want to share is just a really beautiful thing. And that does not always happen. So I wanted to give you kudos to that for creating an environment where people can feel that it's safe to share things, absolutely no judgment. There's support, in the chat, people supporting each other. So I think you've done a beautiful job, and thank you for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Donna. It's, something I really wanted to focus on, because it's never an easy thing to open up and start sharing, especially with something when it's involving losing someone that we love so intensely and so passionately when it comes along grief. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I am not a grief counselor. Um, I am someone that's just been through it, with losing my brother, losing both my grandparents, losing a friend that I've known since I was 6 years old, losing a mentor such as my bird hunting friend. And I can tell you how I got through it and give you the tools and strategies that I got through it. And I have the fight within me, and I'll fight with you every step of the way, because one of the I consider my superpower is I will never give up on anything when it comes to those who I love and care about. And that's why I wanted to create this family, is because something I learned after my brother passed away, people walked away from me. And that was my ex-wife, that was friends, even though I reconnected with one of them about 2 weeks ago, and it's been amazing talking with her and seeing what she's been up to. And that wasn't, I don't think, really by her choice, but watching those people walk away from me broke me. And that's why I kept a lot of people at a distance. And it took a long time for me to be able to trust again. And when I was willing to get out of my own way and build this mountain and build this summit and create this space for all of you and for myself too, is when the mountain erupted. And that's why I'm grateful for the lessons that my grandfather taught me, my father, my mother, and my brother. I still have my mother and father with me, which I'm grateful for. But I really appreciate that. So thank you for that.